Grinch who stole Christmas.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot.
But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not.
The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
It could be his hair wasn't screwed on just right.
It could be perhaps that his shoes weren't too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve 82, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town, where he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stocking. You snarl with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas is practically here. Then he grabbed with his great fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming.
For tomorrow he knew.
All the Who girls and boys would wake up bright and early. They'd rush for their toys and then... Oh, the noise.
And one thing he hated.
The noise. Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast.
And they'll feast.
And they'd feast.
Feast.
They would feast on food pudding and rare food roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand. And the Who's would start singing. They'd sing. And they sing. And they sing. Sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Not for 53 years. I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea.
The Grinch had a wonderful, awful idea.
I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and bluffed. What a great Grinchy trick. With this hat and this coat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer.
The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scared, there were none to be found.
Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
Then he loaded some bags.
And some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh. And he hitched up on Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up." And the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's led a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air.
All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care.
Then he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1. The old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed to the roof and he backed and kissed the fist.
Then he slid down the chimney a rather tight pinch.
But if Santa couldn't do it, then so could
for a minute or two.
Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace for the little whose stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go.
Then he slithered and smoked with his mouth closed like this.
Around the whole room, he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles,
Roller skates,
Drums,
checkboards, tricycles,
popcorn,
and gloves, and he stuffed them in bags.
and then the Grinch very nimble shoved all the bags one by one up the chimneys. Then he slunk to the iPhone.
Then he took the Who's feast.
He took the Who pudding! He took the roast beef!
he cleaned up the icebox as quick as a flash.
Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash.
Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree.
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove. When he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove, he turned around fast and he saw a small Who. Little Cindy Lou Who.
Who was not more than two. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? Did you know that old Grinch was so smart and so smart he thought up at last? He thought it up quick. Oh, my sweet little tot. The fake Santa Claus lied. There's a lot on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here.
And his big towards the child.
Then he pat her on the head and he got her a drink. And he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuck the tree up.
Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire.
Then he went up the chimney himself, the old lard. Oh, and there was he left nothing but hooks and some wires.
And the one stick of fruit that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for his mouth.
Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses.
Leaving crumbs much too small for the others whose mouth.
It was dark. All the kids were still abed.
All the Who's still asleep.
And he packed up his sled.
Packed it up with the presents, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel,
And the trimmings. The trapping.
3,000 feet up the side of
Mount Crumpet.
Then he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it.
Who hoot hoot to the who's.
He was grinchily humming.
They're finding out now that Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and I know just what to do. Their mouse will hang up in a minute or two, and the who's gonna hoo-hoo. All will cry boo-hoo. That's a noise
Grinned the Grinch.
that I simply must hear.
So he paused. And the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow.
It started in low. It started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad.
Why this sound sounded merry.
It could be so.
But it was merry.
Very!
He started down at Hoo-Hoo. The Grinch popped his eyes.
And he shook.
What he saw was a shocking surprise.
Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all.
He hasn't stopped Christmas. It came. And somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch
Still puzzling and puzzling.
how could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags.
And he puzzled 3 hours till the puzzler was solved. The Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought before.
Merry Christmas.
He thought,
Doesn't come up from my store. Merry Christmas, perhaps, and a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
and his heart did whistle tight. He whistled with his mouth. But the puzzler brought morning light.
And he brought back the toys.
And be fit for the feast.
And he
Himself, the French hardly was